bounce?
I don't know. I don't know. Nobody invites anybody.
I did.
What?
I did. Neat Nitty.
Hey, Josh, get on video, buddy, so we can do a proper show here at least. And this is a daily live chat for Mardox at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Obviously, nobody wants to show up, so we're not going to talk about anything. But we got Josh and Belinda. Belinda has a splitting headache. Apparently, I caused it. And
of course.
Josh is so busy because I sent him so much work. It's ridiculous. Right, Josh?
Sure.
So, Josh, what's today's topic, buddy? What are we talking about?
Gas.
Stats?
Gas.
Okay, I can perceive that as different words. Stats? Staff?
G-A-S.
Pass.
Gas.
Oh, gas.
He's a Neanderthal.
I really can't. Belinda, seriously, we really cannot hear you at that distance.
Gas. Gas.
Okay,
gas.
Okay, so what do you mean by gas?
What it means.
Well, there's gas that you could pass, or there's gas that you put in your car. Oh, that's actually an interesting topic. Why are we all complaining about the price of gas when a gallon of water is sometimes up as high as 4 times the price of a gallon of gas?
Let's just try it all.
Huh?
Let's talk about all of it.
What does that mean? It's...
Why are we talking about gas on it?
I don't know.
I just threw it out there.
Marketing it. I mean, people complain about the here in Canada, it's a liter. It's 1.75 liters per gallon. But we complain about a liter of gas being $1.09 a liter. And the other day, I bought a container of bottled water, and it was like $4 for a liter. It was like $3.50 for a liter. And it was like, holy crap. Really, I mean, we're paying more for our water. Nobody says a word, but you got to pay for gas, and everybody complains about the price. Meanwhile, I'm playing Xbox here, people.
That's because
and we need more people to participate in the live chat.
Well, I don't have any topics on gas. Sorry.
Okay. We talked about gas. Belinda is too far away from her microphone to understand what she's saying.
Apparently, Belinda.
But Josh, I'm sure, would have generally accessible systems in WordPress,
yes.
Right? That's gas.
Well, I guess that Belinda had some Mexican food last night, and that may be the reason for the topic. I don't know.
I don't know.
No, I just threw it out there to be random.
Oh, okay.
Belinda being random, that's unheard of.
Well, that's going to be a very boring show if we're talking about gas today.
Okay, well, let's talk about something else. What about WordPress? Let's teach us about WordPress, Josh.
What do you want to know?
Teach us. I can't know what I want unless someone tells me about it.
Well, it's the world's largest CMS system. Well, I shouldn't say the world's largest.
Okay, seriously. You gotta get closer to the microphone, dude. I can't hear you.
I am on a headset, man. If you can't hear me, we got.
Yeah, but you gotta raise the gain on your microphone. You're gonna have to, because you literally sound like you're a million miles away.
Maxed out on my microphone. I don't know what your issue is. Do you have headphones so you can hear me?
Yeah, but not everybody who wears headphones watching video.
All right. Well, I'm just saying I've got it maxed out, man.
Your microphone gain on your microphone is maxed out.
It's maxed out. Yes. So I don't know what you're.
You need to get a new mic. There's something wrong with it.
I just got a brand new mic. This is brand new.
No, there's still something wrong, or it's your audio port. Because like I said, it sounds like you're so faint. Seriously, you're talking really soft.
Probably talking really soft.
Well, then talk a little louder. Won't hurt you.
I'm just waiting to hear you.
Okay, so come on, guys. Topic. No, seriously, we've got to find a topic here. This is going to be a really crappy show.
I was trying to talk, but you told me you can't hear me, so.
Oh, go ahead. Teach us. Educate us.
Well, we can't go over anything if you can't hear me.
We'll make do with what we got, I guess.
All right. So I mean, WordPress is definitely the most widely used CMS system in the world. It's controls 59.3% of all CMS systems in the entire planet, and it makes up 28.4% of the entire internet.
WordPress.
WordPress, yes.
That is true. It has gotten to be pretty. When it first started, a lot of people were skeptical about it, but WordPress really took over the market, eh?
They did, and they've had some shifts over the time as well. I mean, up until 2010, Joomla was, and I used to be a Joomla developer. was probably a better CMS system than WordPress was. In 2010, the 3.0 release came out, and that's when they converted it from a blogging platform to a CMS system.
Yeah, and just
And
for people that
that's
don't know, CMS stands for?
content management system.
Right. Okay. I knew
And so,
that. Just want to make sure.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I understand. So as far as the content management systems go, WordPress didn't really become a content management system until 2010, and that's when it really took off and started getting its numbers really fast. So now 28.4% of the entire internet as of today is built in WordPress.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, of the world of CMSs, a lot of websites are not made with.
No, I'm sorry. Your numbers are off. 28.4% of all websites in the entire planet are built in WordPress.
Over almost 30% are built with WordPress.
Yes.
Okay,
Well,
that's impressive.
if you're looking at content management systems, we actually have a 59.3% market share.
Yeah, I was gonna say WordPress has a bigger margin than it has the most margin when it comes to CMS.
Correct.
Yeah.
We actually have the largest. 59.3% of all the content management systems are WordPress, and 28.4% of the entire internet is WordPress.
That's impressive, and it's still free. That's what's also is really impressive is that it's still free on the market for anyone to use.
And honestly, the reason it stays that way is because it's the community behind it.
Right.
If you ever go to WordCamp, we have probably the best community in the entire planet of all the content management systems as well. If you ever go to WordCamp.org,
yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
If you go to WordCamp.org, not WordPress, you'll actually find events for all the events we actually hold locally throughout the world. And we have them in every country you can imagine: Sri Lanka, Kenya, Japan, South Korea, Israel, Pakistan, you name it, we got them.
And Josh is making it his goal to go to every single one of them.
Actually, I'm the organizer for the Chicago and the Milwaukee ones, so I help organize both those events here locally, and that's the only two I go to pretty much, because I'm actually one of the organizers for both of them.
Yeah, when you say organize, what do you organize? How deep is it?
I'm actually the volunteer coordinator for both events, so I run all the volunteers for both events.
You're the one that finds the volunteers to do the work.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been doing the volunteer coordination for, let's see, going on about 3 or 4 years now. And I've been with the organizing committee for about the last 5 or 6 years now.
Sorry about the background noise here. The garbage truck just decided to go by and do his garbage run now. Just hold on a second.
I just put a link in the.
Yeah, I pull it up. I'll put it on this. I'll put it on the screen for the video.
So this is a usage stats site. Actually, this is a great site to have, anyways, even whether you're a WordPress fan or not. This site actually does statistics online, where you can actually see how what systems are using what technology. But it shows you the statistics of WordPress, for example, the 59.3, and now you know where I'm getting my numbers from. So I'm not just making them randomly up.
Right.
And if you go and you click on the CMS, their content management at the top, you'll see our next competitor is Joomla, and Joomla has 3.3% of the entire internet and 6.8% of all the CMS systems. So we're not even close.
Yeah. If Joomla is your competitor, what other CMSs are out there other than WordPress?
You got Joomla, Drupal, .NET Nuke, a few others. I'm looking at the list they have here. Some of these are not all content management systems, because Magento is actually an e-commerce system. Blogger is a blogging platform, really. Shopify is an e-commerce system. Bitrix I'm not really familiar with. Typo3 I'm familiar with. That's more of a blogging platform.
There we go. There we go. There we go. There's a sign that shows over.
And then we have a phone that's interrupting the show. Let's see, who's on the phone?
I can't even mute it. Crap.
Oh my god, I hope
Hold on, it'll
20
stop in a
times.
second.
Hello, who's on the phone?
Seriously?
And to interrupt our show, we have.
Belinda's got to get around to turning off the volume on her phone.
No, man. It's like she just answered the damn thing.
There.
Jeez. Okay, there we go. So now you have.
Thank you, telemarketers who watch our show, and maybe that's probably them doing it.
Sorry.
But I would say the most popular open source ones are WordPress, Joomla, Drupal, and .NET Nuke. .NET Nuke is the only one that's a Windows-based one for those that are like ASP people.
Yeah, for Windows-based server.
Windows-based servers, correct. Oh,
really?
Oh, for crying out loud!
Just pick up that
Watch, Belinda's about to throw something at her phone here. You're going to hear crash bang.
Marketing Pros International, may I help you?
Damn.
Marketing Pros International, may I help you?
It's a recording.
Marketing Pros International, may I help you?
Seriously?
Idiot.
All right.
There we go. Okay, that's dealt with.
Carry on.
They got the hint. They're not going to say a word. And
Yeah. So WordPress, Joomla, and Drupal are the ones that are PHP based only, for the most part, and those are the most common out there. And there is reasons. I know everybody argues, why aren't we using Python versus PHP? And basically, the reason that we came up with for the reason of PHP is accepted by any server. And Python is not necessarily accepted by every server.
right.
So that's the main reason we went PHP. We're compatible with every host, including Windows. Even though it's much smoother in Windows.
Well, like again, Windows Server, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Correct. We can work in Windows or Linux servers with WordPress, although it's much smoother in Linux. We get a lot more bugs with Windows, unfortunately. So I tend to
Oh,
recommend.
you can
Linux.
get You can get WordPress to run on a Windows server.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I thought it was only Linux.
Mm-mm. That was
Because
PHP.
every time I go download the WordPress download part, it always says for Linux.
Well, for the most part, it is Linux is what we recommend people, but you can run it on Windows. Yes,
Well, actually, it runs in PHP, right? Yeah.
it's PHP, JavaScript,
Yeah.
HTML, and CSS. So for the most part, it'll run on anything.
That's it.
So
And that's what makes it the most versatile.
and our databases ran in MySQL or NoSQL or
Or whatever database you're running.
yeah,
So I
pretty
know
much for
people
the
running
most-
WordPress or Oracle.
Most people are running MongoDB now, so that's the more common one nowadays.
Which one?
MongoDB.
Yeah.
You familiar with that?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the most common database for WordPress nowadays.
But it's still a MySQL driven engine, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit more organized than the old ones.
Old is good. It's not trash just because it's old.
Well, it depends on how old your server is and what the speed is, because it could be really dragging otherwise.
Mine's not old. Mine handled 1.7 million hits in 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So, some idiot went on our chat thing on Skype and said, "Hey, the site's down." I wonder who that was, Josh.
That wasn't me.
Yeah, I wonder who,
No, it wasn't me. No, seriously. How would I know? I don't check the site.
Well, wasn't you on Skype that said the Mardox site was down, or?
No.
Oh,
I
well,
asked after
somebody else.
you mentioned it first, and that's how I
Oh.
found out it was down. I don't check the site, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. You just replied back. Somebody on Skype was
Yeah,
saying that our site was down. It was sluggish
no
because
idea.
of all the flood of traffic all at one time. But it got sluggish.
No, it wasn't me. I have no idea who that was.
Yeah. Oh, I know who the people were that sent the traffic over. I've talked to them since, telling them it's junk traffic, but it's sad because if they put that much money into that kind of junk traffic, it's like, what are you doing? You can put cash into real traffic and get better results out of it.
There you go.
Some guy sends puts their ad on all these little sites and stuff. People, they have to click on the ad. They go over to your website and then they're able to continue on to their game or whatever. But it literally is just junk traffic. The person at the other end seeing your ad is just clicking on it so he or she can continue the game. They have no interest at all whatsoever about what you're promoting.
Of course.
So it is good. It is good advertising. It's just it causes 1 point some odd million hits in like 3 hour period, 5 hour period, and it usually winds up harming the site itself because usually the webmasters aren't anticipating that kind of load in that short period of time. Don't get me wrong. We get 5 million hits a month. But it's a month. It's 5 million across 30 days, not 3 hours. It's a huge. Well, actually, this month we're going to be at 8 million. Haha.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Well, thanks to some junk traffic. Hey, good question for that. WordPress, the versions that are out now. I know people had questions with WordPress being problematic with tons of people putting comments in. The databases would corrupt. Has that been dealt with in WordPress now, or is that still an issue when you got, like, for example, 1,000 people leaving comments all at once?
Typically, I tend to tell my clients either turn comments off or put Facebook comments in, because first off, the reason the bots are attacking it is because they're trying to just get spam traffic.
Oh,
So
it's not even bots. It's just I'll notice it when two people try to put a, let's say, put a comment in, and MySQL will see it and go, oh crap, I overwritten one comment over top the other. I can get into a half-hour explanation of how that works in a database, but we'll do that another time, why it corrupts. But I was wondering if WordPress fixed that problem. I know I fixed it, but it's very complicated how to fix it, and I did it with my own programming.
I've never had that many issues. So
Your clients are all on WordPress, right?
correct.
Okay, and you don't have any MySQL corruptions?
I shouldn't say they're all on WordPress. Majority of them are, though.
Yeah, except for the ones that
Yeah,
really want to pay a lot of
have-
money, right?
No, I do. I have clients that just don't want WordPress, and they're strict in saying that. And in that scenario, we just build it in static code.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I tell all my members to use WordPress to get started, but Mardox is all hand coded myself. It's not WordPress for any. It is a CME. It's just not one off the market. It's my own code. You know, but I'm one of those guys that would say, "Don't give me WordPress. I want my own stuff."
So I can tell everybody, everything has its place. There's projects where we bid that we never bid WordPress projects for. And there's clients that, for the majority of people, WordPress is a great solution because it's simple for them to learn.
Yeah. Well,
the big problem that I have is that you'll have people that don't understand programming recommending WordPress for stuff they shouldn't recommend WordPress for. For example, we submitted a project bid for a courthouse, and they wanted to store all the documents and stuff. We don't want any external stuff changing court documents.
Right.
And so therefore, at that point, we never recommended WordPress. We recommended custom building a CMS system just for the courthouse that would have no external influences.
Gotcha.
Mainly because we didn't want, plugin being built that could, tap into a database and change somebody's record. You know what I mean, for security reasons.
Yeah, but is that still an issue even right now, or?
It can be, and that's why you have to take extra precautions depending on what you're doing. For the most part, though, I separate most of my sites by, what I'm actually trying to do with them. I think that's the best thing you should do.
Right.
I get a lot of clients that always ask me, well, can't we just add this and add this and add this and add this? And I'm like, no, it's going to affect the performance eventually. So what you want to do is limit what you're doing on certain things. And that's the best advice I can give people. Is make sure you limit.
Oh, I know you and I talked about in the past. All my clients are jailed accounts where they each have their own section on the hard drive on the server. Each one has WordPress, but I know they cannot just access the database and go ahead and and access other people's content. They're jailed to their section on the server. So I'm assuming they can't make plugins that'll access other people's databases, right?
Well, I can push an update, so that tells you what I can do. If I can push an update, I can update anything in there.
Yeah, but in Linux, when they say that an account is jailed, as far as I understand, you're stuck to only what's in that account, right?
I understand that, but when you hit the update button for that plugin, doesn't mean I can send code to it that's going to corrupt your system.
Oh, really?
That's why I always tell people, now the good news is WordPress is so large that if that happens, it's caught pretty quickly because of the fact we have so many people in it. It's a big issue when something small happens.
Right.
So that's one of the things we have issues on. I've actually advocated for a breakup of the core team, which is the people who mainly do the core development for WordPress.
Right.
I've been trying for years to get them to break and splinter off and take the security out of it, so where we have a security division within WordPress specifically just for security, and not just for web security, but for physical security. And people are kind of questioning me on that, but I try to explain to people, we control 28.4% of the entire internet.
Yeah, so security is top notch. You need to have that security level there.
Well, it's not just the security level for the computers though. we only have 7 people that have commit powers in WordPress. So if let's say a terrorist wants to create a global infrastructure problem, you get a hold of those 7 people, you have control of WordPress. You shut it down, you just wiped out 30% of the internet.
Right.
That's a massive, massive economic collapse globally. See what I'm saying? So, I've been advocating for, maybe we need to take the security of those 7 people more seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, that's just me. Who knows?
Quite a thing. No, it is quite a platform. It is quite a platform. No, and I didn't realize it was like almost 1/3 of the. Like 28% is a pretty big chunk. We're talking nearly 1/3 of the world running WordPress. That's really impressive.
Correct.
I mean, that's more than what Microsoft can say about Windows platforms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't even have that many people on their platform.
No, I mean, if we start talking operating systems, I think Linux is the most used system in the world.
It is.
Yeah. So yes, people out there, yes, we all have to get onto Linux, get off Windows, get off Mac, get onto Linux. It's free, it's easy, it's fun. It's unless you're my wife and you rip all your hair up because you can't figure out how to do something, and then you have to come over and scream at me and say make it work or else, and that's a whole different story. I'm getting yelled at by my wife around the corner. But no, there's Linux is really good, but it does have some getting used to when it's coming off Windows into Linux. It's got a little bit of getting used to, but it's a really solid platform, right, Belinda? You're gonna get into Linux,
right?
Right? You see, we brainwashed Belinda into believing that Linux is awesome, and she's gonna switch over to it.
As you say, Nelson.
There you go. Oh, jeez. What do you think, Josh? What do you suggest to the people out there? Stay with Windows and Mac, or get over to Linux?
I say it kind of depends on what you're looking for.
Oh, seriously? You're gonna go with the depends argument?
Yeah. No, there's no one thing with the computer industry I always explain to people is there's never one cure that fits everything. So you can't say, okay, well, we got to move everybody to this and that. There's still a lot of software that works better in Windows than other platforms. We all know that Mac has better video software than Windows.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, if you're video editing or graphics designer, yeah, Mac is the way to go. They beat everybody else on that.
Exactly. So it depends on what you need to use a computer for. I mean, to me, if you're not doing video and graphics, then a Mac is really nothing more than
a glorified text machine.
No, I look at more like a Rolex. It's a status thing. You're just saying, hey, I got money to blow and waste on shit I don't really need. And that's pretty much what it is for the computer world. It's just to say, hey, I've got money. And that's really what a Mac is if you're not using it for graphics and video work. It's just to say, hey, I have a Mac and I am in the elite of people who have cash. And that's really all Mac is.
It is pretty much inflated prices, if I'm right, because they are running Intel processors, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically, I can get twice the computer in Windows for the same cost of one Mac, and it doesn't make sense that I should be able to do that.
Yeah, it's just you're not going to have the Mac stuff. I know one person locally here. He's got a PC, and they refer to it as a Hackintosh instead of a Macintosh, and basically it's all PC equipment running Mac OS on it, and he's got more PC there than one of the best Mac systems you can buy for the same price, like you said. The only other computer system I know of that's better than that, and I think they're Linux based, is SGI. It's been a long time since I talked about that, but SGI, Silicon Graphic Interface. I think it's Linux based, I think, but that's a fast machine. We're talking something that exceeds anyone's PC by tenfold. Now you're getting to 3D rendering, graphics, video for studios like Hollywood and stuff like that. Those are the kind of machines that they use for graphic rendering and CGI graphics in films. But there's some pretty powerful machines out there.
Yeah. Video
games though, yeah, no, PC.
Oh, yeah. I was just reading about the video games. There was a guy at the DEF CON. Are you familiar with DEF CON?
No,
Okay,
I
so
want to, but never have.
So DEF CON is the hackers conference that
Yeah.
goes on every year in Vegas. It's currently going on this week, so there's been a lot of stuff that came out this week. Like they proved that they can hack voting machines this week, um, which is not unheard of. We already knew that. And then they also proved that there's this one guy in the hackers conference that was talking about how he made his living for the last 2 decades hacking video games, and he would basically hack the video games, get the digital services online with the video game. So like you would get all these whatever stuff like Second Life, you could buy a house and things like this,
Yeah.
and then he'd go on eBay and he would sell those for real cash. And he made his living over the last 20 years just hacking it, working his way through the video games like that. And that was kind of interesting. And then he mentioned that he was going to be sending those exploits to some of the video game companies because he was retiring. So video games haven't been taking security very seriously at all.
If you know, if there are hackers out there, and I'm not talking about the evil ones that go out and make viruses and hack your computer and wipe out your files. You got to understand, when we say hackers, we're talking about people who are using the technology that at their fingertips to do what they want to do and not go based on society. There's a lot of good hackers also. Being a WordPress developer is technically being a hacker. You're taking what's available on the market and making what you have available work to what you want to do. You know,
Yes,
so it's not all bad. But there's a lot of quote-unquote hackers out there that are multi-millionaires in their industry. But they won't tell you that because again they can't go around and say, hey, I hacked this and I hacked that and I made money doing this and that. They can't say anything about it because you'll get caught, right? But they do make a lot of money.
Yeah, and that's the illegal side. Now, on the legal side of that, there's people making good money too. I mean, the highest paid hacker for Facebook right now, for the bug bounty program, we have one guy in India that's making $250,000 a year just off Facebook hacks.
Yeah. Finding
and he's doing it ethically. Facebook's the one paying him. So
they got to find the hack and then show them how to patch it.
Well, they don't even have to show them how to patch it. They just have to show them where the hack is.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And so basically, when you're doing bug bounties, you basically find the hack, and if you're the first to submit, you get paid. If you're the last to submit, you get nothing. So it's who submits first, basically.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of standing orders from companies that just basically allow anybody to do those as long as you follow certain guidelines. Like most of them don't allow you to use tools to hack in because the tools basically send flags all over the place. So you have to actually know code and scripts in order to get in. And most of the time you're using cross-site scripts or, cross-site forgeries, things like that.
Yeah.
And that's the majority of most of the hacks out there. Those kind of hacks pay around $500 per find.
Yeah.
If you can find
and then some.
No, those hacks are right around about $500. Now, if you can find a remote access hack, now you're talking big bucks. Now you can get upwards of 25 to 50 grand per hack if you can get in remote access.
Yeah.
So gain remote access in the site, not through like cross scripts and certain, CSRs or CSFs, but if you can get those kind of hacks, you can get the big bucks. In fact, if you can get remote access into United Airways, they will give you a 1 million airline miles.
Oh yeah. For sure. I used to work with Cobalt Rack servers, and it used to be owned by Sun Microsystems until they were sold out, and then the new company basically dissolved that business. But the Cobalt servers by Sun Microsystems, I was on the list that if I found a problem, DNS, email, whatever system that has a hack, I had to. If I reported it, I got paid for it. But thanks to those quote-unquote hacks in Linux, they're patched now today for most people using similar systems like DNS and stuff. A lot of those holes are already patched now because of what we found. Okay, I'm talking 10, 15 years ago. But it was pretty impressive. These companies were saying, please, if you find a hack, tell us. And then I found out, hey, we'll pay you for it.
Oh, yeah. Google will pay you for it. Facebook has standing operating orders. DoD just started last year. So the government here is actually paying now. They didn't used to until last year. I mean, there's a lot of companies that do bug bounty programs.
Yeah, I mean, I pay for it even. I had a person come in and say, we used to have a points-based system for running banners. And one person came up, he did something, and the next morning he told me, okay, now you owe me $8,000 over one night. And I'm like, what? And it should never be possible. And he showed me the back door to how he did it, and I paid him for his time to show me the hack. He didn't get $8,000 out of the deal because it was literally a hack, but at least he showed us what we did and we paid him. You know, and it's because of people like that take the time to look and find these issues and these problems. You know, it's worth paying for it. And if you don't, but the only thing I don't like is if you tell the guy, "I'm not giving you any money for this hack. I'm not giving, you know, you're on your own. Thanks for telling us about it." Unfortunately, he may have buddies and friends that he could tell the hack to.
Yeah, you never know.
There is an element of blackmail there.
It depends on if they're ethical hackers or not.
Yeah, and that's what you got to be careful of.
You know, if they're ethical hackers, they're going to report to you first, and then usually the way that works, at least inside the hacking community, typically the way it works is you report to the person you find the bug on first, and then you wait until the patch release comes out.
Yeah.
When the patch release comes out, you also, not in addition to the fee, you usually also have the first right to post. Meaning you have the right to post first before the company even, to say, hey, there was a bug, here's the patch release for it, and you know, this is what we found, and you put out that, and then the company usually posts right after you, and then everybody else is posting after that. But
you're talking about it inside GitHub, right?
Well, no, I'm saying in general, this is just the ethical way of doing things. You never release the actual vulnerability until the patch release is out, because you don't want people that are black hat hackers to come in and hack everything. Yeah,
and destroy. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's going back again. There's a lot more. There's a lot more good hackers or ethical hackers than there are bad hackers.
And you know, and I always get this issue when I go to schools and talk, because they're like, "Well, how come they call them black hat hackers? That's racist." And then I go into explaining that, you know, don't worry, because in the actual hacking, that's what the general public calls us, black hat and white hat hackers.
Yeah, but how the hell is that racist?
Hold on, bear with me.
Okay.
It's not racist, because inside the community, we don't refer to them that way. The ethical hackers are actually considered hackers, and inside the community, we consider the bad hackers, or what they consider black hat hackers, we actually call those people crackers.
Yeah. Because they go and they crack. Yeah, going back to the older days, they would crack software, crack codes.
And so the unethical hackers are called crackers or black hat hackers.
Yeah.
So either way you want to look at it,
but
because we use both terms.
Yeah, but going back to my original statement, how is it racist? Black hat and white hat has to do with the old movies of the westerns. White hats were the good cowboys, and the black hats were the evil ones.
You know just as well as I do where that all came from, and we all know that. But
you and I know that. I don't know if my kids know that.
Well. I would hope they understand history.
And no, the Indians did not go around truly scalping everybody in sight.
Yeah, I agree on that too. So in general, the bad hackers are called either one of two terms. We either call them crackers or we call them script kiddies.
Yeah.
And usually the script kiddies are teenagers that don't know what they're doing, and they just throw.
Oh, geez, go lower than that, dude. Go all the way down to 10-year-olds. I had a kid the other day. He was in Russia. Showed me a flaw. He was 10 years old, and he found a flaw.
That doesn't surprise me nowadays. I think that the kids are getting more technical. However, I am surprised that they actually understand code at 10, not because they can't, because there is a lot of kids that do. It's just that most of them don't want to learn it. Unfortunately, and I argue this point all the time, people are like, well, aren't you afraid that you're going to be unemployed eventually because all these kids coming out of school? And I'm like, no. And they're like, well, why not? I said, because these kids coming out of school, yeah, they're technical. They're way more technical than the generation I grew up in.
Oh, yeah.
But the problem is they still don't know how to code it.
Yeah, but hold up now. I was in school. I was a regular kid like any other kid. I wasn't born with superpowers. But the only difference is my dad came home with an IBM AT, put it on the kitchen table. We did some work on it, and the first thing I asked him was, "Why is it when I push the letter A, the A shows on the screen?" So he went out and got a book on assembly language, on machine language, and we started looking into how to make the letter A when you know how machine language works. And I got hooked on computers at the age of 7. By the age of 10, 3 years later, I had put out my very first math program called Mathland in machine language.
And see, for me at that age, I was heavily in martial arts, and that's all.
Yeah, there you go.
I wasn't really interested in computers back then. I was a paramedic I was an EMT in high school as well, and working on the ambulance and stuff. I was in the ROTC in the Marine Corps ROTC in high school. I did then I joined the service right out of high school.
Yeah, you were more into the physical.
Yeah. Well, I was a combat medic, and that's a medic. I wanted to be a medic, and I wanted
Yeah.
to be a flight medic, and that was what I wanted to do. So to me, when everybody's like, "Oh, you should learn computers," I'm like, "Yeah, computers aren't my future."
Yeah.
And
Now you think otherwise, right?
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little
But
bit. The
because I
thing
make
I
my
don't
living
like
doing it
about my
now.
childhood, knowing all this technology, and I do regret it,
Yeah,
is
the
that by
one
the
thing
time I
I
was in
will
grade
tell,
4, I knew trigonometry, I knew algebra,
well,
because of the
there's one
machine
thing
language and how
I
it
will,
works. And I knew
I
about
will say.
flags, I knew about registers, I knew about all this,
Oh,
this,
never
this
mind.
technical stuff inside the computers, binary.
Yeah.
I could in grade 4 I was able to count and multiply and divide in binary in base 2 instead of base 10 like everybody else. So A, if I showed it off to other kids, they picked on me, and then B, I was bored of school. In grade
I
4
was,
I should have already been in grade 7.
yeah,
You
say the
know.
same thing. And so that's the way it is when you're growing up, unfortunately, when you're gifted. But to me, now I will say the one thing I tend to tell people that are new is and this is the biggest thing you never know when you're new. I think everybody's afraid of saying they're good at something, because they usually think that, well, that's me being egotistical or whatever, or they think that you're just bragging about what you know. And what people don't understand is you may think you're not that good yet, but when I first got my first job as an accountant, it was my first time working in an office setting. I had went to school online, but all my jobs previous to had never required a computer. And so I sat down behind the computer, and they're showing me how to do the books and accounting. And this is my first job at a computer. 30 minutes into the job, I'm doing the job. The next day, I'm doing it faster than the girl that taught me how to do it. And the 2 weeks, I'm actually running the entire accounting department. And I was one of the very few people, and I actually knew more about computers than everybody in the freaking company.
Mm-hmm.
And that surprised everyone because they looked at me as a security guard, because I was the head of security for the company
Mm-hmm.
at the time, and they never thought I actually knew computers. And I didn't think I was that good at computers. But I didn't find out how good I was at computers until I found out how bad everybody else was.
Yeah.
And that is something people don't see. They don't see the other people, so they think they're not that good. What they need to realize is there's a lot of people that are worse than you. When you're comparing yourself against others in the industry, yeah, you may feel like you're inadequate, but when you compare yourselves against people not in the industry, you realize, holy shit, I'm way ahead of these people.
Well, I'll give you an example. Real world here. I never thought I'd be getting into pool repair and stuff. Going back 10 years ago, I never thought I'd be getting into pool repair. That story goes back to I just wanted to get into a job that was physical because I was a computer programmer. I still am a computer programmer, but I was getting pudgy and I wanted to get some physical work. It's get outside and get some fresh air. And I went to work for a pool company. Wound up installing three above ground pools a day. And I'm not shitting you on that. It's 3 to 5 above ground pools a day. It took us an hour and a half to install, from getting there when it was grass to when we left, you were putting water in your pool. And then after 6 years of that, I got burnt out with that, and I went into doing this stuff by myself. For those 3 years after doing above ground pools, everybody said, "Oh, well, you still don't know everything yet. You're still not that good." Then recently, with this pool repair stuff with Regis from Trevi, finding out that my quality of work is above and beyond most other repair guys at most other pool companies. A lot of them cut corners and stuff, and my standards are. I'll give you an example. Putting the foam in before we put the liner. There's a white foam that we put down. We have to tape it. When I look at the other guys' work, that when they tape it down, you can see the gaps that they leave between the foam. Whereas me, it's tight. And it's just a technique. It takes a few more minutes to do it. But the company sees it and goes, "Wow, that's awesome." The clients are happy. Like I said, I have no complaints. Whereas these other repair guys in the industry, they've got complaints up the wazoo. So be the best you can be yourself. And I think Josh is right. You'll be surprised. You may know a lot more than what other people know or think they know. You don't know until you try, right?
I agree, and some of it's just that you don't know how good you are until you compare yourself to someone else that doesn't know what the topic is, because then you start to realize, when I started doing Excel spreadsheets, I was doing really advanced macros and stuff, and I thought everybody knew how to do macros because I went to college and that's where I learned it at. So I didn't expect people in the department not to know how to do macros.
That's it.
But apparently, not everybody knows macros, and that's the
Well,
way it goes.
just to clarify, macros are little scripts inside the Excel sheet, like that would turn lettering red, for example, in the case of if a value is lower than a certain amount, for example, right?
Basically, it's different programming formulas that you would use for Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah, relative to the spreadsheet.
Now we do a lot more stuff than just regular basic macros, even. But back in the day, no one really was really big on macros. Now, if you don't know what a pivot table is in Excel, you pretty much don't know Excel.
Yeah, that's it.
And then people look at you funny if you say pivot table. They're like, "What's a pivot table?" But that's just the way it is. It's just there's new terms that come out all the time, and people don't keep up with them. Within the industry, I mean, I remember when SPSS was the standard of statistical software, and now it's there's all kinds of new programs for statistics out there. So being the cheapest being R, which is free. I remember when statistical software used to cost you thousands of dollars. Now they got statistical software open source for free through the R project, and most people don't know what good statistics even is.
Statistics are well, it depends on, because you could be looking at analytics, which is different from statistics.
And that's the number one reason we use statistics in the internet is analytics. If we're analyzing the analytic data, we can use statistics to help analyze that data. There's a lot of people that don't even know you can connect analytics to statistics and actually make decisions that way. Surprisingly.
Yeah, that's it. No, 100%. Yeah, but Jesus, does anybody? Yeah, I still use Excel, but I use it for doing bills.
Statistics, I use R.
Use what?
R.
R.
Mm-hmm.
Is?
No, R. The letter R. -project.org. It's a statistical It's an open source statistical computer program.
Oh, okay. To do statistics, not spreadsheets.
Yeah. I'm talking about statistical analysis.
Oh, okay. And that's a tough thing, because you guys would. I'm just going to put a piece of a snippet here up on the screen here. Give me a second here. Where are my stats today? I'm going to put up the stats for Mardox here without showing anybody my personal information. Oh yeah, I could do that. Yeah, there you go. These stats that are up on Mardox that you can get that you get as a member, they're not the easiest things to program. Well, I'm going to go back to June. June's good. Just pull up some data. The software behind the scenes and to do these statistics is really intense programming to get all this stuff 100% right. And a lot of users take this stuff for granted. It's like
So here is the R project. I just sent a link to that, so you can do it to your users.
Go ahead.
Already sent it.
Already sent it? Okay, cool. Already got it. There we go.
Yeah.
Here's the R project. So this is part of WordPress now, or what is this?
No, this is just an open source statistical analysis program.
Oh, okay. Okay, you plug in data, and then it can spit it out.
Mm-hmm. And the R is also a programming language. It's actually its own programming language as well. So you can actually have all the data automatically driven to the statistical software.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So in the old days, you used to have to grab the data, then put it into the software. Now we just program everything in R, and it's all driving the data to the program automatically.
Right.
Which is a whole lot nicer than the old days.
Yeah, well, let's say the older days, and because everything new already right now, it's already old.
Exactly, and
we're old. Look at the white hair. Belinda, you getting white hair yet? Did Belinda fall asleep?
I think so.
See how boring we are? Belinda just fell asleep. Like, oh, whatever.
I think she got a baseball bat and went after the guy that called.
What? Oh yeah. The other guy.
Yep. So here is
I'm doing all sorts of work here. I'm on camera right now, and people are probably looking like, what is he doing? So I'm doing all sorts of laptop stuff right now, and trying to optimize my time. Hey, at least I'm not screwing around with wood.
I agree.
Yeah, go for those of you that want to know what I'm talking about. Go back two videos, two episodes, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, I
Click,
would say that.
click here. No.
Uh-oh.
Huh?
But yeah, I mean, there's tons of things you can do in programming and all kinds of things now, and I think that people are still stuck in their old ways and they haven't really learned the new stuff yet. And
Well, I found a program the other day. It's really neat. I'm still playing with it. I don't want to say the name of it just yet because the person putting it out isn't ready to produce the software or put it live. But it's all point and click, drag and drop functionality to program in PHP. And really, there's very little coding involved, except that if you want to go outside and start modifying, let's call it a module, let's say. But you start off with your main page, and then you bring in, okay, I want an input data coming in, so I want to analyze the input, parse my string, for example. Then what do I do with that string? That string then becomes a box, and then okay, this string is going to be coded as a password, and it needs to be salted. It's just point and click and a lot of left clicking with a menu to select what you want each module or each item to do. And if they're going to do this, it might come out better than most point and click drag and drop systems for PHP than are already existing.
there you go.
It's gonna be easy. Like they're really making it easy for the non-programmer person to actually do PHP.
And that makes it harder for the industry because you got people that say, "Well, I don't need this anymore," and then they want something custom done, and they don't realize we have to charge 10 times the rate that we used to charge because other people like this are out there, and that's what drives up rates.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
programmers become even harder to
But
find.
I mean, you're not going to lose clients because someone's going to go, well, I'm going to go over and use X program to do this drag and drop, because they're not going to be able to do it at that level. I mean, look at front page. That was pretty advanced, and Dreamweaver was still way more advanced in front page.
I agree.
But people still ultimately at some point came out and said to a programmer or a web designer, excuse me, and said, "Can you fix this? Can you make this do this? I can't make it do that."
I agree.
So sooner or later, there's going to be somebody out there who's is going to say, "I need a pro."
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing some pushback in the industry right now where we're trying to raise rates, and clients are like, "Well, no, but you did it for this rate this last year," and it's like, yeah, but technology is changing now, and when it takes longer to do stuff, or it takes the same amount of time to do stuff, but the technologies, you know, that's out there helps drive costs down or drive revenue down. You have to find the revenue somewhere.
That's it.
So either your costs go up or you get your clients, and that's kind of where we're starting to go. Is we're just going to start bringing in our own sales force and go retail ourselves in the house instead of having everything out of house, which is what we do now. And that means that we get the benefit of getting all the cash.
Well, yeah, but it's going to change prices. It takes your workload off. That is one part. It's gonna get you out of having to do all the mediocre, low level programming, and it's going to filter down to where you're going to have all the higher level, more advanced stuff to do. Which personally, I'd rather do an advanced project than say, "Oh man, do you want a counter on your page?"
Yeah, it's kind of boring when you do certain things.
Yeah, it's like repetitive work. Oh, jeez.
Which is why I prefer content management systems.
You like what?
That's why I like content management systems.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I got out of doing programming for a lot of reasons. For the small person, I wanted to put all my effort into the Mardox website and in my own content management system. It's sooner or later people are going to come in. They're going to take my website and use it for their own membership sites. Ultimately, that's what it's going to be driven to. It's just I'm still developing it to the point where it can be sold. So there is a future in this. It's just I'm not there yet. Personally, I'm not at that level yet to say yes, I'm ready to distribute it and allow people to use it for their own membership sites. It's just one of those personal things. Where it may never be ready. Who knows? Not sure. Hey, Merlin, what do you think? Merlin's sleeping behind me here. Anyhow, Josh, did you want to wrap that up today for this, or do you have something else you want to talk about?
Let's see. Yeah, I could bring up some fun videos if you want.
Fun videos. We're gonna do 10 minutes of fun videos.
Sure, why not?
There you go. Let's show the public. Let's show the public some fun stuff. You know, we should do.
Here we go. Here's one for you.
Go for it. Let's see this.
Yeah,
but am I gonna get copyright? I can't show it. I can't show it, dude.
Oh, trust me, it's fine.
No, I can't show it on the show.
Why not?
Well, I'll get copyright stricken.
What?
I can't show other channels' stuff on our channels, otherwise we'll get striked by copyright.
Oh, okay, then go off air.
Well, no, that's what I mean. If we want, we can wrap up the show, and then we can do that.
Okay, let's do that.
There you go. Okay, cool. So, this is the Mardox Daily Live Chat for whatever date today is, and we talked about whatever we talked about. No, today was what, August 1st?
Yes.
Yeah, we're August 1st. Yeah, so this is the Daily Live Chat for August 1st, 2017. Belinda was here, Josh was here, and I was here. Join us tomorrow at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Anybody's invited to come in and join on the live part of the chat. And it's all recorded and rebroadcasted on YouTube. So, see you guys tomorrow. Make sure to subscribe, like, and comment on our videos. And we'll see you tomorrow. Say bye, Josh.
See you.
Now I gotta go find the button. Where's the button?